I'm concerned with the direction this country has been taking for the last 4 years. Growing up in communist Cuba gives me a different perspective of what's going on. The similarities that I see between what's going on today and what happened in my country are staggering and alarming. It all started with people tired of being poor, tired of government corruption, by civic organizations inciting our youth into wanting change. Castro took advantage of this when he overthrew the government. But in order to stay in power, he had to change things. The first thing he did was take over the military. He wanted to make sure all the military had his views. And if they didn't, he'd get rid of them. Executive power was the key. The appointing of what we call here czars was a key to Castro's control. No longer elected officials. Everybody had one view, Castro's view. Gun control was a big issue in Cuba. Guns were banned. Today the administration wants to ban guns for the same purpose, in order to control the people. Things started to fall apart, so more control was necessary in Cuba. The economy was crashing, so Castro nationalized industry and the banking industry. The value of the peso went to zero. A business owner was no longer allowed to make a profit. He was given a salary. And it was done through regulation and taxation, little by little. Regulate a business enough, tax it enough, they can't survive. It becomes part of the government. Castro introduced healthcare reform, healthcare for everyone, equally. That didn't work out too well. Cuba went from a country who isolated yellow fever to a country where if you go to the hospital, you better bring your own linen and supplies, because there isn't any. Doctors fled the country when they were told what to do at what price. In order for Castro to maintain power, he knew he had to control the minds of the youth. Young people love to be part of something. The indoctrination of the children in Cuba through the school system became the key to his success. Just like in America, where our universities are bombarded with socialist agenda and socialist professors. Change the mind of the youth and you change the country. Political correctness became so bad that if your views were different from the government, you were targeted, a traitor. We were labeled traitors. My father lost his job. I was ridiculed in school, bullied, all condoned by teachers. Isn't that happening now, where teachers ridicule students for being conservative? Separation of church and state. Every time I hear that, Castro thought that worshiping to God was anti-revolutionary. Therefore, he was banned to worship God in public. Started at the schools. I remember one day in class where the teacher told us to put our heads on the desk and pray to God for candy. Of course, when my head went up, there was no candy. She again told us to put our head down and pray to the revolution and pray to Castro for candy. And you can imagine there was candy when my head was up. All the kids had an array of candy. I had 2 pieces, and the teacher went on to explain that the revolution was kind to me, even though I was an anti-revolutionary, and gave me at least 2 pieces because it wasn't my fault that my parents were confused. And it's one of the ways that they indoctrinated us to not believe in God. Change is not always good. Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.